Welcome to Tales from the Fandom, a podcast that brings a special guest out of the multiverse and straight to you. And now your host, David Ginsburg.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Tales from the Fandom. Today, I am joined by Ashley, aka Sailor Geek Cosplay. Ashley, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
It is an absolute pleasure. I know that we connected through a previous guest who, it's always amazing where like you click on people and then you're like, oh, who's that name? Click on that person. Oh, I like their stuff too. Let me click on the follow button. And then it's like this web of like, it's like an internet or an interweb, I should say, of like, hey, you know them and I like that. So now I follow you too.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just one of those wacky things. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I always need more people that are willing to come on the podcast and talk to me. Now, you've got a number of fandoms, and shockingly, and I say this with all love because I live in Orlando, which is the House of the Mouse, which also now owns like 70% of, whatever is out there in entertainment wise. So
empire.
it is the Empire of the Mouse, and we've got two Disney properties we're going to talk about, and a Star Wars Disney property, and of course we'll talk about cosplay too. I'd love to start with one that I have not watched. I think I might have watched the first episode, which shame on me, I should have watched more. But it's Tangled, the series.
Yes, it is awesome.
Now I gotta ask, like, you like Tangled the movie, right? Like you're all in on that?
Absolutely. I it's funny because ever since the very first teaser trailer came out, I was instantly hooked, and like I was hooked to Flynn Rider, aka Eugene Fitzherbert, and Rapunzel, and just the chemistry they showed in that trailer. I was like, okay, I'm in. Let's go. And then I saw the movie, and oh my god, I cried so much. And it's funny because this movie is going to be 10 years old this year, and it's so amazing how this movie led up to a series. And ever since I heard about the fact that it was going to be an animated series, I like bounced off the walls. And like Rapunzel is my favorite Disney princess, and I got into the show like for her and for the original characters, and it really shows like how much they worked on it. And it goes on to cover like all of the things that Rapunzel has been doing right before Eugene and Rapunzel get married. Like there is a lot more to the story. There's a lot more to the Kingdom of Corona and everyone's characters. Like we go more in depth with the characters, and because Rapunzel has been in a tower for 18 years, she still has to adjust to getting to know the people of her kingdom, and still trying to adjust to being a princess and pleasing people, and even trying to form a bond with Cassandra, who is one of the main supporting characters. And she has a hard time with that, but you follow along with her struggles and her adventures, and I'm so happy that they got to continue Rapunzel's story.
That is one of the things that I've noticed with Disney within the past couple of years, has been this continuation from, instead of doing a sequel movie, they instead go to television, because they also did that with Big Hero 6, where they did the same thing. They ended the movie, and then they did, I think they're on their third season now of Big Hero 6, the cartoon show, the TV series.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really great that they're doing that, because for the longest time, Disney didn't really have a great track record of, those sequels to their movies, the direct-to-video ones that everyone was like, oh yeah, Pocahontas too. Yeah, we didn't really need that at all. But I've heard great things, not only from you on Tangled, but from a previous guest about Big Hero 6, where they're able to do more than they'd be able to do in a movie about, like, especially with the, as you said, like, establishing the characters, getting the characters to really breathe and become even more nuanced than what was in the movie.
Absolutely. And this is the type of thing that they should have gone for with Wreck-It Ralph, because the movie sequel was a disaster to me. I was so disappointed. There was so much that more that they could have done. They could have turned it into a TV series to make it a lot better, because I love Fix It Felix and Sergeant Calhoun. I wanted to see more of them, and they just got cast aside. It was more focused on Vanellope and Ralph, and they could have turned it into a series to make it better.
One of the things on the podcast I always like to bring up is, we had Tangled come out, and then Frozen came. I think it's like a year or two after, and of course Frozen is like the big monster
Yeah.
of the movie that it is. But to me, like, I like Tangled better. Tangled is probably one of my favorite of the recent movies that have come out,
Mhm.
from this, like, current era. I love Rapunzel so much. She's probably
Mhm.
one. She's in my top, like, 3 or 5 of princesses. Uh, but
Yay!
but of the current generation, like, she's number one. Like, there's some golden, or the Disney Renaissance princesses where I'm like, yeah, I love them too. But yeah, Rapunzel is definitely one where, when the movie was coming out, I was like, okay. And then when it came out, we got to see it in the theaters. Like, yeah, I dig this. Like, it's so much better than what I had ever anticipated.
Yes, Rapunzel is full of a lot of things that a lot of that I mean, the other princesses, yeah, they have some characteristics to them, or some character traits to them. But Rapunzel is larger because she is so talented. She could do anything. She is like the Kim Possible of Disney princesses. She could do anything. She can cook, she can make a dress, and climb trees and do incredible stuff with her hair that no other princess could do. And like she could do so many things, and she's incredible. So I mean, she definitely sticks out from the rest in my opinion.
A lot of people listening to the podcast know that I send out a survey, and I'm like, oh, hey, tell me, like, your favorite characters and shows and movies and stuff like that. And there's a character on here, and again, speaking from the lack of having watched the show, there's a
uh,
character on here that you really love, named Varian, and I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Absolutely, and you said his name beautifully.
Yay! What is it about Varian that, like, I mean, you didn't even list, like, like, you have a list of characters here, and I'm not going to read them all off, but, like, that's the first one. I'm like, I don't recognize that name at all, besides based off the cosplay that you've done, and I've seen that on your Instagram.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you I mean, if some of you have seen like my profile and my TikTok and whatever, my variant cosplay is the most popular, and like I have a little bit of a problem, a little bit of an obsession for this guy, just a bit, just a little itsy bit. But anyway, uh, yes, like so how it started was I have a college friend who is was actually one of the storyboard artists on the show. She worked on season 2 and season 3. Shout out to you, Anna Lencioni. First of all, before I go into the introduction of Varian, if you're watching the series, please watch Before Ever After first, because that's the prequel to the series. It shows how Rapunzel got her hair back. So be sure to watch that on Disney Plus before going into the series. So before the first episode came out of the series, Anna posted a fan art of Varian, and she was like, "I am so excited for you guys to see my favorite character. His name is Varian, and he is amazing. I hope you like him." And I was like, "Oh, he looks so cute. Okay, I'll look out for him." And then I watched the first episode and he was there and I was like, "I'm gonna watch it again." And I watched it again. I was like, "I'm gonna watch it again." And it's just okay. So Varian is an alchemist, and he's a teenager. He is so passionate about science, and he loves to impress people, and he wants to like make a difference, if you will, and like try to be of good use to the people around him. Like in the first episode, he tries to give his village hot running water using a chemical he names Flinoleum because he is a diehard Flynn Rider fan. And like he keeps like his own little Flynn Rider shrine, and it's so adorable. He loves to keep things behind curtains or covered so that he could like do like ma- uh, a magical reveal, like a magician, like taking a huge curtain away, like to reveal like a huge machine that he invented, and he loves to surprise everyone. And that's just what I love about him. He loves to impress people and he tries so hard. But as the series continues, you get to see his character dramatically change. And do you want me to give it a little bit of it away or just
You can tease it out because I'm already interested in watching the show. So I mean,
okay.
don't spoil me, but you can tease it.
Okay, let's just say that I mean, like I said, Varian's character dramatically changes. And that was probably the catalyst of his popularity, that he he became a popular character, and he is a popular character in this fandom. And ever since at that point, which is the Queen for a Day episode, which is the mid-season episode of season 1. And that was what turned a lot of heads. Like everyone was suddenly focused on variants. Like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, and his character just takes off from there. However, his character does not show up in season 2. Sadly, he only appears in an illusion. But that was that time during the we okay. Now the fandom has suffered a lot of hiatuses
Hmm.
because this show did not do so well with TV views or like did not have a good view rating, and which Disney Channel really cut back on this show as far as promoting it, and it was very unfortunate, and they had to go on long hiatuses that lasted up to 6 months or more than 6 months, and that was a big struggle, and the production of the show like was finishing on time, and they finished it, but the show was still on hiatus. Disney Channel was trying to, like they just didn't want to schedule it, so we had to suffer until Varian shows up in season 3 again. And yeah, but again, love this character so much, and he's a very important character in my life. So I'm glad that he exists.
That is one of the things that I've noticed. Again, and I can only reference that my discussion with about Big Hero 6, but I do remember Tangled at the same time, or the Tangled series, was that there was like that initial push, the initial like, oh, this is coming. Here's the ad. Here's the stuff, and it was when like my kids were younger, so we'd be watching Disney Channel, we'd leave it on, and we'd see like the, oh, this is coming. But after that initial, let's say, first episode or first 2 episodes, it really died off as far as their marketing, and
Uh-huh.
you didn't see it online either, like, because I spend the majority of my time online. I expect to be seeing ads pop up, like, not pop-ups, but I expect to be seeing stuff where it's like, oh, let me check this out, or let me like
Mm-hmm.
take a gander at it, or a few minute clips, or maybe something on YouTube. But they didn't really put anything out there after that first initial push, and
Yeah.
it's really surprising to me because it's not like these properties did poorly. It's not like there isn't that audience for them. It's just that you need to make sure that you're having it at like the set time and everything. Because that's another thing I had a problem with Disney about was they'd always seem to be changing their schedule for shows.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that has happened a lot. Now I think Disney Channel did a really good job at promoting Ducktales because it was very popular. It's very popular. I mean, because it's in a nostalgic show, but we'll get more into that later. Um, but the thing is, and this has happened with, I mean, quite on a regular basis with Disney because Disney doesn't really care so much about their TV program. It's more about their parks and their movies and their other partnerships, especially with Fox and that whole all that shenanigans.
Hmm.
And they were just more focused on that, and plus and Disney Plus as well. It's just like they had so many other things that they set their mind to rather than, oh, we got to put Tangled the series back on schedule and blah blah blah. And it was really sad because after the first season they completely abandoned their social networking uh, accounts, that the fans were the ones who promoted the heck out of the show to push it out there, especially when uh, the hashtag Tangled2 hashtag was trending on Twitter. That people were like, why is there a Frozen 2 when there could be a Tangled 2? And the fandom, that was their cue, be like, okay, guys, let's do this. Hey, we have this thing for you. It's called Tangled the series. It is a sequel. Go watch it. It is so worth it. So we as the fandom did Disney Channel's part, um we just did Disney's part in promoting the heck out of the show.
I'm shaking my head over here because like it's something where I can't believe that when they have a property such as Tangled, that they would do,
Yes.
that they'd invest the money, but then be like, you know what, we're just gonna chill out over here. And I understand that there's a lot of moving parts within again the empire of the mouse that we got going on, but at the same time, I mean, I there's so much merchandise that they could do. Like Frozen, like I'm going to pick on Frozen because I like Frozen, but there's times where I'm like, Frozen. Like you had Frozen, and then you had like the shorts that
Mhm.
they did for Frozen,
Yep.
and every time there was a new dress, you dang well saw a new dress like showing up to be bought and everything like that. And then of course Frozen 2, you've got more new dresses and dolls and characters that you can buy, and like, you can do that even if it's a cartoon series on TV. Like that, it's not stopping you from marketing and developing new products for kids to get. Like that
Yeah.
and I know that's like the big money maker is of course like toys and clothing and hairstyles and whatever needs to be
Yeah.
done. But it definitely is something where I'm like, how can you not like see that and want money?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, now on Tangle the series side, they did a pretty good job with their merchandising. I mean, and they continued doing it for a little while cuz like sometimes I would go into Target and they came out with like, I mean, and I'm not talking about recently, but in the past, like say it would be on season 2 or something, like they would come out with new dolls or new toys, like they came out with a bow and arrow for Rapunzel, for example. Like I was like, okay, like I'm pretty sure she's good at archery. Like that's fine. I mean, maybe they could have painted it to Cassandra's colors because she is more into archery. But yeah, I mean, they did a good job with merchandising. Now on the Varian fandom side, like they demanded merchandise for Varian, but all we got was a little figure, just a small little figure that came with a set. That was the only Varian merchandise we got. But he showed up in some books or coloring books, but that was all we got for him. And we just keep saying to the fandom, like, listen, if you want Varian merchandise, go support those on Etsy and Store Envy. Like buy their prints, buy their plushies or whatever. Like whatever they're
Hmm.
making, buy their charms. And I'm just because Disney is not going to give a darn about Varian because his like I said, his character changes in a way that it's not marketable. So yeah.
But it's definitely like you bring up the toys, and I know that there's definitely a lag time from the time that a show comes out.
Hmm.
Like it's like
Yep.
6 months to a year because there were shows on Disney Junior. My kids were super into them, and
Yeah.
the toys didn't materialize like until the year after, and it's like it's too late. Like you slept on it. You can't sleep on. You got to get these toys. That first week or two when that show is on, you need to be like, hey, look, the toys are here because there's definitely like a lot. There's definitely like that time of okay, we're doing the toys, but it takes like 6 months to manufacture and make and
Hmm.
product test and everything. But for people that haven't checked out Tangled the series and they've listened to you talk about it, what's your pitch? What would be your pitch for getting somebody like me who number one I mean I'm going to watch it, but what's the pitch for watching the series?
Okay, here it is. So, you love Rapunzel so much, you want to see where she goes from there before she gets married to Eugene? Well, there is a lot more to the story. You can check out Tangled the series / Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure. It continues on with Rapunzel's adventures with her boyfriend Eugene, or now fiance, and her best friend Cassandra, who is amazing, by the way, and meet some other characters along the way, and just like see where their character arcs go and how much they evolve throughout their time. And you also have the original cast. You have Mandy Moore reprising her role as Rapunzel, and Zachary Levi as Eugene, and you have Eden Espinosa. We have Broadway uh, stars. We have Eden Espinosa, who plays Cassandra. She played Elphaba in Wicked, and we have Jeremy Jordan, who is Varian, and he does an amazing job as the role. He was he was Jack Kelly in Newsies, and also in Supergirl. And we have James Iglehart, and he plays Lance, Eugene's best friend, and he is in Hamilton, and he played the genie in Aladdin, the Broadway musical, and he is such a sweetheart. Like I love him to death, and you'll love Lance, by the way. Lance is a teddy bear of a character. He's adorable, and Alan Menken comes back to compose the music for the show, and the songs in this series is so amazing. In my opinion, far better than the movie's songs.
Whoa,
And that's saying a lot. I know, but please, like I recommend listening to Ready as I'll Ever Be. Like listen to that song. It's epic.
that's like throwing the gauntlet down of like
Yeah.
I, I, I'm at a loss for words. Like number one, even getting Alan Menken to come back for like a TV series and do songs for is mind blowingly awesome. But to say that they're better than the movie, that's some fighting words there, possibly.
There are. I mean, I love I See the Light. I love it so much, but when you compare them to the series, I'm like, I'm sorry, but
Now the series, it's over now. Is that correct? Like
Yep,
we're okay.
yep. It completed itself like a few weeks ago, and the 1st of March, and yeah, 3 years. It was going on. I mean, after those long hiatuses, that's how long it took, and I'm very sad. I mean, I felt like it completed itself too quickly. I felt like there was a lot more they could have done. However, with how the finale ended, I'm satisfied with it. There were some things that I expected to happen, but that's what we got the fandom for, to kind of like push out fanfics and fan art, and we have our own theories that could I actually expected to happen, like, because the evidence was there, but I say it ended on a good note.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that it ended on a good note. I know that there are certain shows that have not ended on good notes in the recent past, and
I hear ya.
you had brought up another Disney property while we were talking. It's one that we're going to tackle, and again, I think I've watched the first episode. I am a
Yeah.
classic. I guess I grew up with the show Ducktales back in the day. Like
Mhm.
that was my. I don't know if it came on Saturdays or just during the week. Like it's very fuzzy to me at that on my
Yeah.
youth and shows, but I love
Mhm.
Ducktales. I think I still even have the VHS of the lost lamp somewhere in the garage.
Oh.
But like and I've shown my kids because we paid for it before. This was before Disney Plus came around. We bought
Yeah.
like the first two seasons on Amazon to watch, and they really dug it. And we did
Huh.
try we did watch the first episode together, and my kids were like, they don't look right.
Eh.
Like the animation is different. Like and I get that because that's across the board as like animation styles have changed and been updated. Some for the
Yeah.
better, some,
Like,
everyone's
where's the
got their opinion.
HD version of this? Why don't the colors pop?
But what was it about this DuckTales that drew you in? Because I know that the other thing is like the cast of voices is incredibly deep.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely, like, the cast is, oh my gosh, like, I cannot believe they were able to get their hands on some of them. Okay, so first off, I think DuckTales came out the same year as Tangled the series, and I wanted to watch the reboot. I wanted to, I was interested because I mean, I did now. I I can't really remember if I grew up like watching DuckTales when I was younger. I was more into Darkwing Duck. That was my
Yeah.
stuff, but that was my jam. Like I was more into that. Like I looked at DuckTales and I was like, well, the theme song's cool. Like I watched that and then I would just flip over to another show. But but I mean, again, I got distracted with Tangled series. But then when one of the seasons ended, and I was like during that hiatus depression, I was like, you know what? Let me give Ducktales a shot. Now, what kickstarted it was in season 2. I found out that the Three Caballeros were going to make an appearance. Now, the Three Caballeros, I like that was one underrated Disney classic that I was obsessed with when I was little. Like I love Jose Carioca, and just watching that movie, I never get tired of it because it's so entertaining, and I love the characters. I love Donald, Panchito, and Jose. When I heard that they were gonna appear in an episode, I was like, "Okay, I am so gonna watch it, and maybe it'll bring me into actually watching the show." So I watched the episode, and not only was I there for my 3 boys, I I was drawn to Dewey, Dewey Duck, played by Ben Schwartz, and I was like, "He is me." He is I see myself so much in this character, and I adore him so much. Oh my gosh. And then I mean, and Scrooge McDuck, played by the awesome David Tennant. Like, I was like, "He is such a good Scrooge." Oh my god. Like, just he represents that iconic character so perfectly. Like, he was born to do it. And so I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna rewind and go back to watch episode 1." And just the first 7 minutes and I was hooked. And then I just binge watched the whole thing and, caught myself up with the show, and I would have to say I love DuckTales more than Tangled the series, just by the writing and the characters and the cast and just It's such a good show.
Now, one of the things I remember being a classic Ducktales person is that Huey, Dewey, and Louie were all very interchangeable. The only thing that really stuck with them was, each one had their color to differentiate, but they didn't really
Yeah,
have an individual personality. They were
right.
a three characters with one real background, essentially. I assume
Mhm.
that they have deviated from that in this new
Oh,
series.
yes. And the actors who play them, like, they work together so perfectly to where they can actually divide their, personalities and their interests, like, just creating more of an identity by creating more, of an identity for themselves. And and that mainly comes from the actor's performance. Like Ben Schwartz, like he plays himself in Dewey, and it shows. It really shows. And like Dewey is himself, Louis is himself, and Huey is himself. And you grow. And the one thing about this show is you get to connect more with each individual character more than the original. Like I don't know so much about the original that my opinion probably wouldn't um cut it, but it just really shows like how more connected you can be with each character. And I feel more connected with Scrooge, and I like Scrooge is my favorite character. And yeah, I definitely go the same with everybody else.
So coming from the background, you don't have the classic background. What does this new DuckTales cover? Like, are they going on like every week? It's looking for something different, or Scrooge is going to lose all his money, or he's investing money into
Mhm.
something else, and they get into like
Well,
wacky shenanigans.
I mean, one great thing about this show is it still holds the nostalgia. It still holds it in, but gives a modern twist to it, which works. It really works. And I mean, Scrooge, is still Scrooge. It's like he never changed. He's still, I mean, he's like this guy is like immortal for some reason, like because like nothing bad happens to him. Well, there was one episode where we thought something bad happened to him, but it was like faked out, and it was really funny. But again, this thing still has its nostalgia touch to it, and but they still go on adventures, while some episodes are like focused on like certain characters, which I have to bring this up because it's very important, and if I don't, I'm gonna regret it. But one character that has become very popular is now, spoiler alert, Huey, Louie, and Dewey have a mom, and her name is Della Duck. And
What?
she is an incredible character. She is a strong female character, and I'm so sorry, I forgot who voices her, but she did an amazing job. And she I think she hooked in a lot of the audience, because I mean, people didn't know about this character until it was brought up, and it definitely shows in episode 1 that Dewey finds out that they have a mom. And and you connect with her character too. And yeah, she's great.
I'm mind blown over here.
Yes.
I don't know what to say
Yes.
about that. I guess that's cool. Like that, I like that they're introducing new aspects of it. One of the things that I did see, not to get off on a weird tangent, is um, Donald seems to be a lot more in the series.
Oh my
Am I
gosh.
mistaken?
No, oh yeah, okay. So okay, Donald, okay? You have to you have to watch this show if you are a Donald fan, because his character, for some weird for well, I mean, not weird reason, but a good reason, good logic reason, he is more mature in this show, because he looked after Louie, Dewey, and Huey for a long time. Because Donald is Della's brother, they're twin siblings, and he has more of a connection with Scrooge and everybody else, and he's just more mature. He's not like, I mean, yeah, he goes off on, um anger issues and everything, and still being himself, but you still see that he acts more like an adult, and it's so different. But at the same time, he can still be hilarious, but you see a whole different side to him, and it's really cool.
I'm there's so many shows that I always was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna make time for it, and I definitely have time for it now. With not going anywhere for the foreseeable future as we record this on March 25th. And I guess I've got to just load up Disney Plus and start my binge watching of shows. And
Please.
I am glad that these shows that we're talking about are like 20 minutes, because I can then like destroy a season in a day, maybe a day and a half.
Yeah, and definitely season 3 is going to start up next month in April. Hopefully, if I mean, I hope that it won't change its premiere day because of all the stuff that's going on. But I mean, I don't think it will. But I mean, and this other Disney afternoon characters will be making an appearance in this next season. Like they just announced. I mean, they announced at, was it, yeah, San Diego Comic-Con last year, that more Disney afternoon characters will be in it, like Chip and Dale, Goof Troop, and more Ducktales characters. And I mean, Darkwing Duck already made his appearance in the show, but he'll be showing up more in it. And Launchpad. Okay, hold on. Let's talk about him real quick. He is my boyfriend. Like, I love him so much. His character is, I love him so much. Oh, like, I didn't love him before, but I love him now. And oh my god, and him, just him with Darkwing Duck. I was like, oh my god, my childhood is being relived, and I loved it.
Oh my goodness.
So definitely check it out, please.
I am going to have to check it out because it just sounds really cool. And the introduction of more of my I don't know, my middle school, early teen years of life with those characters is something that shaped me as who I am. So I'm looking forward to seeing them.
Definitely. And I don't mind if you check out DuckTales before Tangled the series. Like, that's totally fine. I understand. DuckTales is so much better.
That's going to be the tagline for this episode. DuckTales is so much better
than anything in this world.
Oh my goodness. Now we got one more show that we're going to talk about. And again, Disney property, Star Wars. And that is, of course, like the show that I'm going to preface this, and I probably have said it on the podcast before. So if you're listening and you're hearing this story again, I apologize. I was not like into a TV series called The Mandalorian. I was like, I don't really like Boba Fett. I think he's overhyped. Let me just go from there. But I'm going to check it out because I had that FOMO of, oh gosh, I need to watch it because number one, I love Star Wars. I was super thrilled that it wasn't about Boba Fett. I was super thrilled about the show in general, and I have to say, like, it was probably one of the biggest surprises to me of the recent like TV shows that I watched probably last year was The Mandalorian.
I was definitely shocked by how good this show was. I like when I heard about The Mandalorian, like from D23, and I was like, okay. And your point is, and I'm like, and then I was like, and then when Disney Plus came out, I was like, you know what? I'll just watch it. And then the child appeared. Okay, I'm in. Okay, you got my attention now. You're probably the next baby Groot. So
that was there's a lot of things that don't surprise me about Star Wars anymore. I've been
Nah,
watching it since like
yeah.
the mid '80s, toys, and I read like almost all the books that came out
Wow.
up through like my college time, and even with like the Phantom Menace when it came out, and you're like, oh look, there's a female Yoda character over there, Yaddle, and everything like okay, cool. When this happened, I was like, oh, like I'm legitimately like shocked here of I cannot believe this.
Right?
What Okay, so I know you said you just you watched The Mandalorian because you watched it, but then was it let's I guess you can't even separate. You can't even separate like if the child wasn't there, would you still watch it? Because then that negates the rest of the series entirely. But
Yeah, I totally yeah, totally, like, okay, so in all honesty, the first episode bored the heck out of me, like, I almost fell asleep, um, but, um, now when you take Baby Yoda out of the picture, yeah, I mean, I would lie and say that I wouldn't enjoy or I would enjoy it if he wasn't in it, but I mean, just this the second episode is my favorite because just that scene when the child saves Mando,
mhm.
that scene is so powerful because that forms the connection between them, and it gives. I mean, the child gives Mando a purpose to like. I mean, not only is he a bounty hunter, but he's like looking after this kid, and you see his soft spot you see his soft side of him, and and don't get me wrong, Mando is my favorite. I love him. He is actually my favorite Star Wars character, and I'm not lying at all.
Wow, that is something
Yeah.
to drop that. Now, I will say that I loved what they did with The Mandalorian as a show. I like that it was Star Wars, but it was like a Star Wars Western. I loved the
Mhm.
music. I loved how they shot it. I like how they had the
Mhm.
different settings. I like that
Absolutely.
I like that they were able to put you in somewhere and they didn't need to explain it. Like they didn't need to be like, "Oh yeah, well
Absolutely.
for the past couple weeks or whatever, I've been, going from planet to planet." Like they just launch you in there and they say, "Okay, yes, they're tracking either the Mando or the baby, baby Yoda, and there's a bounty hunter after him." Like they didn't need that. They don't need the explanation. They just launch into it. They give you the character where you're not seeing anything visually from his face, with the exception of like head
Yes.
nods or turns, and you still get such a great in-depth character.
Oh, I know, right? Just just like you don't even need to take off the helmet. Like I just love him with the helmet on. And Pedro Pascal, he did an amazing job in that role. One thing I love about the show is how simplistic the plot is. Like it's
Mhm.
not complicated as the movies are. And now I have not watched Clone Wars yet. I mean, I kind of realize how long a show it is, but I'm gonna try my best to watch it. But this, I just love how simple it is to watch The Mandalorian, and it's not over the top and I love that it's a western. I love western stuff, and yeah, and I love the characters along with it. I mean, I don't want to wait a few more months to wait for the next season. It's gonna, it's gonna it's like a hiatus depression again.
It is one thing where I know that there was criticism over the length of the episodes, that some episodes were a little bit longer and some episodes were shorter. I like that they're
Hmm.
not being extra, that they're not adding like superfluous stuff to the show. Like just give me what you wanted to give me and I don't need extra. Like, and I feel like that's the problem with a lot of shows that are still on networks, where it's like, oh, we
Mhm.
have to do 22 or 24 episodes, when you could really get it down to 10 or 13.
I think the main reason why they do that is because they want to save all that stuff for the next season. Like this was just to see how this show would kick off, if people would get into it. I mean, they probably predicted that they would get into it with all the Baby Yoda merch and everything, but yeah, it was cut short, and it felt like a Walking Dead season, like because the first it was like six episodes, but I guess they wanted to see how this show kicked off because it's the first. I mean, because it's Disney Plus, and they wanted to see how this platform goes. So it was a test run, but now I think they're gonna really take off with the season 2 with more of a bang.
Yeah, it's definitely something where I can see them either extending the episodes a few minutes or an extra episode depending on like what they're going to do with it. But I'm looking forward to it, and I like that they gave us a lot of different characters and they didn't resolve everything with those characters. Like there are so many characters where I'm like, I really hope we get to go back and see that villager woman that was like wielding the
Yeah.
the blaster rifle, and it's like, oh, you're cool. Do you have I know you said Mando's your favorite. Do you have like a favorite like scene or like something where you're like, dang, out of all the Mandalorian, like that was the best thing I ever saw?
Well, I mean, going back to episode 2, that scene where the child saves him, like I love that scene. But I also love those little father son scenes that they both share together, like in the ship where Baby Yoda's like turning off the switches and he's like telling him what to do, and just oh gosh. I'm here for that. Like, can we have more of that, please?
It'll just be a season long of just them like parenting and learning. Don't touch
But I
that.
mean,
No, you can't eat
oh
that.
yeah. But I still love Mando for just being himself and just like I mean, just the child aside, like just like how he you can definitely feel how he feels and also his interactions with the other characters. Like he doesn't need to do much. Like he could just like slowly turn his body like towards a character and you know what he's thinking. You
Mhm.
know how he's reacting internally. And that's the coolest thing. It's so weird, but you connect with a guy you can't see his face and it's that's the magic of Star Wars.
It is. It's and I like that they grounded this series with just how that it's not the big space epic, space drama that's going on. It's very much just like that individual story with
Mhm.
Mando and Baby Yoda and these side characters that pop in and out, and it's just like I dig that. And again, I love the music. I love at the end, like with the credits where they've got like
Oh, yeah.
the paintings and stuff. It's like,
Yeah, the
man, I
concept
I
art.
love
Oh
that.
my god. Oh, I love the credit scenes with the concept art. It's beautiful.
It is. So we've covered the Empire and all that you are like super into, but we're going to
Maybe
talk
not
about
all, but
we're going to talk about cosplay because that's what you do on at least on
I
Instagram
mean,
and TikTok and
sometimes, yeah,
stuff. You
sometimes.
you you do cosplay. So how did you get into cosplay? What drew you to it?
Well, I started cosplaying since 2007. Well, when I was little, I always loved dressing up as a Disney princess or something else, and just acting out that character. I've done it for all my life, really, and then when I found out, like when I was in high school, like a senior in high school, I found out that people dress up at these conventions, and I'm like, wait, what's a convention? What's cosplay? I was so new to it, and then I was in the anime club in high school, and my friends were like, "Hey, let's try to go to MomoCon, which is in Atlanta, Georgia." And and I was like, okay, okay, all right, I'm gonna try to go. And and my first cosplay was Takuto Kira from Full Moon wo Sagashite. It's a very old shojo, and it's still near and dear to me to this day. And I'm actually going to cosplay a full version of this character this year for a convention. And it was just basically a long sleeve black shirt, a midriff shirt, and blue jeans. Pretty simple. And I wore him to MomoCon back when it was free admission, and I had so much fun. And then when I got to college, I was a part of the anime club and cosplay club, and my friends like influenced me to cosplay more. So I took off from there, and I love it to this very day, and I'll never stop.
Cosplay is such a unique thing that, like, as I have had many cosplayers on the podcast, everyone is like, they are certainly drawn to different characters or the different costumes. When you cosplay, how do you choose who you're going to cosplay as? Do you go more for, I love that character, let me represent them? Is it more, I really love that outfit, I want to try that out? Like, where do you go to when you're like, I want to cosplay, and figuring out who you're going to do?
Well, I mean, I always go with like some of my favorite characters, mostly characters who I relate to a lot. Like Rapunzel, for example. I relate to her so much. I cosplayed her, and like her blonde hair and her brunette hair. And I just, oh, like, and I made that whole entire dress, and I love acting out as her. I love acting out the characters. That's the number one thing I love about cosplay, is I get to bring the character to life. And that's my purpose, for when it comes to cosplaying, is I want to bring that character to life and impress a lot of people, and just be me, and I mean, just expressing like my passion for this character. um and But there are like certain characters that I just want to cosplay for the heck of it. Like with the Ducktales characters, I cosplayed. Oh my goodness, how many did I cosplay? I cosplayed a lot of characters, like maybe 10 of the characters from the reboot, or maybe more than that. And I just like, you know what? I'm just gonna like dress up as them and just do TikToks with. Like I did all all the triplets, Scrooge, Della, um, Fenton, Gyro Gearloose, Lena, Gandra D, and oh my gosh, who am I missing? Ah, crud. All right, never mind. But I just like, I mean, like, even if I don't have a connection to them, I just do it anyway. So I mean, I've been doing a lot of characters, like, especially from Pixar movies. So I'm just like, it would be great to just, dress up as them, and but it's more about the connection that I have with the character.
Okay, cool. What's the thing where it's something? Look, I'm on the outside looking in because I do not cosplay.
Uh-huh.
What's the thing that you would love to tell people, like, oh yeah, like this is something you would never know about what I do for cosplay?
Like, what are like misconceptions about cosplay, or
Like
like,
something that people wouldn't realize that, like, that you put into it, whether it's like time or money or the blood, sweat, and tears, or like especially tears, because
oh,
I've
I
I've
see.
had a number of people where they're like, oh my
Like the
gosh,
true life of the
yeah,
cosplay life. Yeah,
true life.
don't
I'm
cos
a cosplayer.
take my advice, don't cosplay. It's a trap. It's like the struggles. Like, it's not, I guess, like, sometimes people fear of cosplaying just because they'll be judged by how they look or how they make their costume. But really, just do it. Like, please, like, if you want to dress up as a character, you can do it. You can even do it through a low budget. Like with my cosplays, I usually go to Goodwill to purchase some pants because I can't make pants to save my life. And and buying a simple shirt, like for a like going back to Ducktales, they wear a lot of casual clothes. You can dress up as them too, like with Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Just get a blue shirt and some white pants and maybe some yellow Converse shoes and a white wig. You're good. But really, it's like it can be simpler than people think. Now, when it comes to exotic costumes, it's I mean, yeah, that takes some skill, but if you want to have a commit, there are other ways you can put together a costume. You can have it commissioned, you can buy it off it online. There are a lot of resources you can go off with doing that. Um, you don't have to be a pro. You don't have to have a particular skill. And if people give you lip, just ignore it. Don't take in the negativity. Just don't. Like, please, please. Like, if you love doing this, don't give up. Don't let people tell you what to do. Like, because people don't know you that well. And and yeah, that's just how stupid people are. And but yeah, there's a whole lot more with cosplaying, but that's all I say. It's like if you want to do it, if you want to dress up as a princess, go online, get a dress. Like go on Amazon, like dresses. Like I just found out that dress or like Disney princess dresses are not all that expensive. Like they're less than $100. Like go on Amazon, get some dresses, go for it.
When I always talk to cosplayers, I always like to find out, do you have a favorite one that you've done, like that stands above all others, where you're like, dang, this is my pinnacle right here. Like, come see this.
Well, I mean, apart from my popular character Varian, the one cosplay that I am very proud of, and I wish I could do more. I mean, I still have it. It's just that I never really found much opportunity to wear this again. But my Rocket Raccoon cosplay, it's more like it's kind of like a skimpy little version of him. It's like a female version of him, like a sexy version of him. But I love how it turned out. Now, in the past, I was like, I don't know how I would be able to cosplay this character. Like, how would I be able to do it? Like, because I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it in a fursuit. Heck no. I live in Georgia. What the heck? I mean, at the time, at the time I was, and in Florida, I still couldn't. But I found a way, and I was like, okay, let me try like a female version of him. That can work. And now I put together this cosplay in so little amount of time because I was trying to finish it in time for Dragon Con. And I even made the weapons. Like I took some toy guns and I just modified them. I put like bits and pieces of them together and I made the harness for it. I had no idea how I was going to make that harness, like his back brace. Like I don't know what it is. I don't think it's like a I don't think it's a jetpack. I think it is a jetpack. But whatever that thing is. But just putting it all together, like I did his volume 2 version. I went with the blue color. And I was like saying like and just the end result. I was astounded by how it turned out and the makeup I did and like I am I am so proud of it. I hope I can wear. I hope I can wear it again. I wore like maybe a few times, like for a photo shoot. But my dream is to have a full Guardians of the Galaxy shoot. But I don't know who does all the other characters. But if anybody's looking for a rocket, please let me know.
Awesome. I'll send that out. I'll be like, we're looking for
Please.
some Guardians characters in the South.
Yeah.
Come hang
But
out for a photo shoot.
But it's really sad too because I had a baby Groot plushie on my shoulder, and people would mostly comment on my baby Groot than my cosplay, and that's it's a downside to that. It's like whenever I have a little plushie or something, people would compliment that and not my cosplay. So again,
Definitely.
you can't please a lot of people, but it is what it is. It is what it
Exactly.
is.
Now we're already a quarter of the way into the year. What's on your cosplay list for this year? What's your goals for this year on knocking out some costumes?
Okay, so I'm currently working on like 5 cosplays, like just doing like bits and pieces one after the other. Last night, I actually cut fabric to make my own Baby Yoda cosplay. I may be 5'10", but I'm still gonna do it. I actually have a Kara. My best friend, Kurosaki Cosplays, is an amazing Kara from Mandalorian, and so hope to maybe do like a photo shoot with her. Um, I'm gonna cosplay Ian Lightfoot. If you guys want to know how to make the wizard staff from Onward, go check out my YouTube channel. I made a tutorial on how to make it. It's really simple. Let's see who else. What am I? Oh yeah, Joy from Inside Out. I really want to do that, and I mean, still going back to the whole Disney thing because I have a problem. I have an annual Disney pass. I can't help it. But let's see. Oh my gosh. I want to redo my Han Solo cosplay. That's another thing. Oh gosh. I mean, my dream cosplay would be Rapunzel's wedding dress. Like, I want to make it, but I'll probably have to do that until I actually get married because I want to wear that dress at my actual wedding. um, but maybe that'll be a future, like, way in the future kind of project. But yeah, Disney cosplays, basically.
Disney cosplay. I did notice your Han Solo at when you went to Galaxy's Edge, and I
Yeah.
have to make a comment because my wife and I went, and we did the Millennium Falcon and the Rise of
Uh-huh.
the Resistance and everything, and I cannot get over it. Like I see everyone taking pictures on the Millennium Falcon, and dang if we weren't rushed through. And it's like, oh, we barely have time to sit down. We barely have time for like my wife to pull out her phone to even take a picture, let alone like it's just wild. Like they're like, okay, it's time to go. It's like, but picture. I see everyone else with great pictures.
It's definitely uh like a photo shoot world right there. And it's really amazing how like I mean they won't let you in if you go in full like in a full stormtrooper outfit or a Chewbacca
Hmm.
costume or anything like that. But if you're cosplaying like in a way that you're not too convincing as the character. However, my friend, again, Kurosaki Cosplays, does a canon Luke Skywalker. Like, she looks so much like young Mark Hamill that it's scary. And she was able to get in. And even the stormtroopers and Kylo Ren interacted with her, and it was so funny. But again, like they let us in, and it was very amazing. And they even sneaked us into the fast pass line for Smuggler's Run, just because we were dressed up as characters. But
Nice.
anyway, but yeah, it's gosh, Hollywood Studios is like my favorite park, and I always go to Galaxy's Edge and Oga's Cantina. Like, oh, that is my favorite.
That is the one place we did not go to. They didn't have any
Uh,
reservations. The line was long. It's like, okay,
no, but you
we'll
gotta
go.
go. Like, oh, please. Like, I mean, like just keep trying. Treat like do you sometimes take your kids with you or do you and your wife
No,
sometimes
we bought like the Florida 3-day thing that I mean I hope it gets
Oh.
extended because of the time because we have to
Oh, I
use them
think it
by
will.
June. But we were planning to go back to Epcot for like the Flower and Garden Festival because we dig the Epcot things that they do every couple months.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, I mean,
One day we'll get
definitely
annual
try
passes
going in
again.
there though. It's so fun.
Now, for people that have listened to all of the episode and they're interested in finding you online to either learn more about Disney cosplay or anything else, what are the best places for them to do so?
Okay, so you can follow me on Instagram at Sailor Geek Cosplay. You can also follow. I mean, if you go on my Instagram, hopefully you have an Instagram. Uh, you can go on my link tree, which is in my bio. You can check out my other accounts. I'm also on Twitter. It's the Sailor Geek, not Sailor Geek Cosplay. It's the Sailor Geek. And also check out my YouTube channel, which I just recently opened up. And you can check out some of my geeky stuff on my channel. And I will upload more videos. I have all the free time in the world with the quarantine thing. So check out more of my videos. Just look up Sailor Geek on YouTube, and I'll be there. And I'm also on TikTok, Sailor Geek. And that's it.
Awesome. Well, I'll have the links to all of that in the show notes and on the website and Facebook page. And Ashley, I want to say thank you so much for your time to come on and talk the Empire with me, Empire of the Mouse.
Yay! Empire forever. Thank you so much. You were awesome.
Thank you for listening to Tales from the Fandom. Subscribe to us on iTunes or your podcast app of choice. Follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Tales from the Fandom to see photos, links, leave feedback, and check out upcoming guests. If you'd like to be a guest, email David at talesfromthefandom@gmail.com.